Hey friends, Stevie B here. So there's something that I got to talk to you about, something that I want to show you. We're going to take a look at my most recent statement from Identifyy, which is the company that collects a portion of YouTube ad revenue on my behalf from people using my music in their videos. This digital fingerprinting service is called Identifyy. Many of you have probably already heard about it. I've discussed it at length on the Make Music Income podcast. I get a lot of questions about it, and you may be surprised to find out that it's actually become a legit secondary source of income for my royalty-free music catalog. And I'm really happy about that because registering my tracks with Identifyy puts some unique limitations on the music as well, and my year-long experiment with it thus far has been a bit of a gamble, so to speak. So we're going to get into all that and more in today's video. Make sure to stick around to the very end because we're also going to take a look at some of the weird videos that my music is being used in. So before we get into all that, make sure to give this video a like if you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to check out the productionmusicacademy.com. This is an interactive community where I host all my genre-based production courses, provide feedback for members, and upload regular bonus content. That link is below. I'd love to have you in the community. You can take part in the monthly production challenges. Those are a lot of fun, and you can get some constructive feedback on your work from other community members and myself. So make sure to check that link out and hit me up if you have any questions at all. So it wasn't long ago that I was convinced that registering my music with Identifyy was a bad idea. The reason being, I figured that it would only serve as a deterrent to content creators downloading music from a royalty-free music library if they could expect a copyright claim on their videos. And I think to some extent that still holds true for some users. My rationalization for not registering my music with Identifyy in the past was simply that I figured it would only hurt my downloads and sales. And what I came to realize about a year ago is that couldn't be further from the truth, especially in today's climate of no-limit download subscription services like Motion Array. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Identifyy and maybe are wondering whether you should be using it to protect your own work, here's why you may or may not want to register your music with it. Let me give you a quick overview. There are several reasons why a music producer should consider registering their songs with Identifyy. Increased revenue opportunities for one. When your songs are registered with Identifyy, you can earn revenue from any user-generated content that includes your music on YouTube. Identifyy allows you to monetize this content by receiving a share of the revenue generated from the advertisements. Another reason is protection against copyright infringement. Identifyy is a digital fingerprinting system that helps identify and manage copyrighted content. And by registering your tracks with Identifyy, you can ensure to some extent that you are protected against unauthorized use and infringement of your music. And another reason to use it is analytics and insights. Identifyy provides detailed analytics on where your music is being used and by whom. So while there's plenty of reasons to consider using Identifyy services like Identifyy, there's also reasons to avoid it. And that's primarily if you are considering applying to certain libraries. For example, Artlist will not accept any music that's registered with Identifyy. And likely many other TV and production libraries similarly would consider it to be a deal breaker. Why? Well, simply put, a lot of other libraries either have their own Identifyy systems in place or otherwise just don't want any copyright claim conflicts for their users, which is understandable. So that being said, when I register a track with Identifyy, I'm effectively excluding that track from being anywhere other than Motion Array, Audio Jungle, and Pond 5, which are the three libraries that I work with that allow it. Excluding music from Artlist's catalog is a tough pill for me to swallow because I'm potentially missing out on a lot of revenue by doing so. However, not all of my work is suited to Artlist, especially some of my more like stock material, especially the corporate stuff, for example, which is, quite frankly, it's better suited to Motion Array, Audio Jungle, and Pond 5. So those types of tracks are typically the kinds of songs that I register with Identifyy because I'm not going to pitch them to Artlist anyway. So some of you may remember the video I did last year about making like $5,000 in a month from Motion Array. If you missed that, I'll link that up above somewhere if you want to check that out. But in short, there's been a few tracks of mine that have done exceptionally well on Motion Array and have been downloaded thousands of times. So these are ranked in terms of the most downloaded, with Oh That's Real Good here on top, getting like about 4,600 downloads. That's like a hip hop track. I got a couple of corporate tracks below that. Business Mastermind, Synergy Supernova, 3,700 downloads, 3,500 downloads. I think specifically Synergy Supernova and Oh That's Real Good came out in the same month and largely contributed to that huge payout. Fortunately, these tracks are kind of like the gifts that keep giving, because as you can see in my Identifyy statement, I'll just pull that up here, many of the videos that are being claimed here are using these songs that really, blew up last year. There's thousands of videos to scroll through here, but those 3 tracks come up, very often. And occasionally some of my older material as well. And if we look at my monthly payout statements here, you can see how more and more videos using my music have been detected across YouTube over time. And you can quickly get a sense of how many views is actually required to make any kind of decent money here, and it's a lot. So things started off really slowly in February of 2022. The claims, started kind of trickling in. In March of last year, I had $7 come in, and it didn't increase like a whole lot over the second and third quarter, but it was growing. I felt pretty discouraged actually, up until about the third quarter when I started to get above $50 a month. But if you look at even August at like $50, payout, we have 216,000 views with a total of 240 claimed videos. But things get really interesting in the fourth quarter. We have a total of 2,000, almost 2,500 claimed videos, almost 1.5 million total views. And the payout for the fourth quarter is almost $1,000. And you could see how things really fluctuated, from October to December. We have October and November being, pretty decent payouts for almost $500 in October. And the numbers for December just came in and it's only about $71. But I'm certainly not complaining. It's a lot more than I thought it would be. One thing that's interesting to note here is that November's and December's claimed videos were nearly the same, but the total views basically got cut in half. And this goes to show you that, you can kind of get lucky here. And if your music lands on a video that's just happens to get like views in the hundreds of thousands, it could account for the majority of your payout. Because if we go back to video reports here, you'll see that like most of the videos that get claimed here are in the low thousands, even hundreds. Just to give you an example of what I'm talking about here, so we have a video in November that used my hip hop Halloween track called Ghostly Gangsters. And this video got 277,000 views. The total net earnings from this one claim alone is $178. And if we click on this video link, it's just basically, some dude commenting on a Kanye West interview. Very random. We got someone else here who's using Business Mastermind. This is a corporate track that I've written. And if we scroll up down here a bit, we have another instance of Ghostly Gangsters being used. This video only has 28,000 views with a total net earnings of $120. Let's see what this video is. I don't even know. Oh, this is another Kanye West, commentary video. Maybe I should start doing these videos. I don't know. So we're just looking at November's report here, but it's interesting the way it breaks down. Like we got 2 high earners at the top here. And actually just thinking about this a little bit more, what probably plays into the amount that you get paid is how long the track is being used in the video, because I'm pretty sure that this track is just playing on repeat throughout the entire video. So yeah, 2 high earners at the top here, and the rest of them are like less than $10, less than $5. So break down the silos here. Third track down is, that's a corporate tune that I wrote quite a while ago. It's interesting to see what kind of content your music lands on. I'm not sure what this is. So this video is like, yeah, I don't know what language this is. Maybe something food related. We got a video using one of my hip hop tracks here that's sports related. That's kind of cool. One of my corporate tracks being used in this video, Dubai, cheapest gold shopping. I love it. So it's interesting to see the users. You can see that it's a wide variety of content creators all around the world on YouTube. I think the vast majority don't have big followings. Most are probably not eligible for the YouTube partner program. Most of them are likely not collecting ad revenue. I think you need to have like 1,000 followers and a certain amount of watch time to even be eligible for that. But of course, as you may or may not know, YouTube puts ads in front of your video either way. And if you're a YouTube content creator like myself, you quickly learn that copyright claims aren't uncommon. They're not a big deal, and most of them are fairly easy to resolve, especially if you've downloaded music from a royalty-free site and you need to clear that. So again, what I'm getting at here is that even though it clearly states that my music is registered with Content ID on sites like Motion Array, it doesn't stop people from downloading and using it in their videos. And this is clear proof of that, everything I've shown you here. So in the end, Content ID has turned out to be something that's worthwhile for a select portion of my catalog that's done well on Motion Array. But certainly there's lots to think about before you register your music with a service like Identifyy. You're locking the music into a contract, for one thing. That's something to keep in mind. With Identifyy, it's a 3-year long contract. And to some extent, you're limited to where you can pitch the music once you've registered it. As I mentioned earlier, not all libraries will accept it because they may have their own Content ID systems in place. It's funny, I can't help but wonder at some of the videos that I see my music being used in that get into like the tens or even the hundreds of thousands of views. And I think to myself, like, should I be making reaction videos to celebrity interviews and just, use my own music in the background to generate some extra revenue for my music? That could be an interesting experiment, but yeah, I'm not sure I have the time for that, to be honest. Anyways, that's it for me. Please hit me up in the comments and let me know what your thoughts are on this video. Are you registering your music with Content ID? Are you making any significant revenue from it? Do you think that it's worth it? I'd love to know what you guys think. As always, thanks for listening, guys. Be sure to check out the Production Music Academy. Hit me up with any questions you got. And in the meantime, happy composing. I will see you next time. Peace.